Hi everybody, it's Carla from Casey Creates, and today I thought I'll do a little video just so that you can get to know me a little bit. So if you're interested in knowing a little bit about me, then you can pull up a seat and I'll let you know a little bit more of who I am and where I come from. I am originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I was born in Chicago, Illinois, but my parents decided they wanted to raise us in a slightly smaller city. They were born and raised in Chicago, so they moved us to Milwaukee when I was very little, so I don't really remember my life in Chicago, but we still have family in Chicago. So I have an older brother by 2 years and an identical twin sister. Yes, we look just alike. And a younger brother by 2 years. So there were four of us. We grew up in a small house, three-bedroom house. It was a duplex where there was family on the bottom and we were on the top in Milwaukee, right off I-94. And not too far from the Brewers Stadium, not too far from Miller Brewing Company. So in the what would have been considered the west side. And our neighborhoods in Milwaukee have names, and our neighborhood was called Merrill Park because we lived right near Merrill Park, which was a fairly good-sized park. We grew up going there and playing softball and swinging on the swings and running on the tracks and playing tennis at the tennis courts. Our neighborhood was very diverse. We had lots of ethnicities. My brother's best friends were parents were one family was from Germany, one family was from China. We had several Mexican families in our neighborhood, Native American families in our neighborhood, and just saying all that makes me realize what a rich experience we had in cultures. Polish families. It was just a melting pot of lots of ethnic backgrounds. We played outside, and I smile when I say that because it's so sad that kids don't really get to for safety reasons and just because the electronics have taken over. We climbed trees, we built go-karts, we built forts. In Milwaukee, you get lots of snow, so we would build snowmen and igloos, and we would go sledding for hours, and we'd be so cold we'd be crying because our toes would be frostbit. Of course, we rode bikes, and we had lots of freedom. We would go on our bikes for miles. We would ride downtown Milwaukee, go to the library, go to the museums, go to the lakefront. Lake Michigan is really huge. When you see it, if you've seen the ocean, it almost looks like the ocean, and we even get waves of considerable height. So the lake was a beautiful place and a really fun place to escape to. Our family was very creative, and my mother encouraged the arts in our family, so we grew up listening to all kinds of music, classical music, even opera, which would embarrass the heck out of us when our friends would come over and hear it. My mother was a classically trained musician. She sang lots of sacred church music, and she insisted on us singing. I sang with my twin sister duets all the time in church. Excuse me. We were very much into the arts. We were always doing crafts. My mother put us in sewing lessons. My older brother was into chemistry and biology, and he was always creating things like bug spray to kill flies and mosquitoes. He loved animals, so we always had some kind of injured animal in our house that he was doctoring. Birds and bats. We caught grass snakes and lizards. My younger brother was into building. He had all kinds of Legos. He loved making things that were buildings or bridges, and he even got into making dollhouses when he was in middle school. So our mom wasn't, she said her life was a little more restricted and she wasn't given a lot of opportunity, so that when she had a family, she was going to make sure her children did everything. So we were swimming at 4 and 5 years old and diving off diving boards and all kinds of fun stuff. Now, that being said, we did grow up in a lower income neighborhood. Everybody had to be creative in order to have fun. Um, we weren't all going on big lavish vacations and ski trips and things like that, but we did, by being creative, figure out ways to really have fun. And I was saying that for a reason, but I don't know where I was going with it. Anyway, my mom would restrict us from television, and that also forced us to be creative because we could only have so much television a day, and sometimes not even every day. I've happened to grown out of that, though. I kind of like television. So anyway, let's see, what else can I tell you? This was really just a getting to know how I grew up and the fond memories. I will say there were some not so fond memories. You know, in all families there's baggage, and we were unfortunate enough to have the struggle of living with alcoholism, and our dad struggled with alcoholism our whole life and his whole life. But everyone has their demons, everyone has their crosses they have to bear. And the blessing was that we were raised to have a very strong spiritual life. We were taught the priority of putting God first and going to church and going to Sunday school. We memorized scripture. My mother always had good news clubs and 5-day clubs in our home where we learned about Jesus and the importance of having a relationship with him. And those were the things that really got us through the tough times. So I grew up with 3 siblings. We really enjoyed our childhood together. We have lots of fond memories, and living in Milwaukee was a great city. It was fun to grow up there, and we all went to the same elementary school. We went to, my sister and I went to junior high school, and then our neighborhood kids all kind of went to different high schools. I went to the High School of the Arts, and back then that's when the TV show Fame was really popular, so everyone thought going to the High School of the Arts was so cool. It was just okay. But I did get to do pottery, and pottery is pretty much the rest of my life. After high school, there was something that had to do with pottery, from just getting that opportunity as young as I did. And I'll share more about that with you. But if you check out my picture story video, it shows some of my background in clay. So before this gets too rambly, I'll stop here and I'll share more about my life and myself in future videos. So I'll put this as the beginning playlist of getting to know me. And if you want to get to know me more, check back and I'll post some more videos soon. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.